Yo, what's up? I'm Coach Rich Thurman, also known as Coach RT3. Today we're going to talk about how you can break up the cat-cow or your spinal flexion and extension into segments. Oftentimes what we see with people is the inability to move the spine segmentally, and so we move in chunks. So when people move their cat-cow, they move in big chunks. So go into flexion here for me, and then we go into extension. So you see the body moving in big chunks, and if you look closely, you can see where a person likes to hinge. So if Yana's moving, I can see that she likes to hinge right here mostly. So there's not a lot of movement through her thoracic spine, and there's not a lot of movement here through her lumbar spine. So she likes to hinge right in this area here. The problem with that is that when we're trying to absorb force through our spine, if this is the only segment that likes to move, then that's the only segment that's able to absorb force well. So we want to get some of this other stuff moving so that it can be able to absorb force better. So one of the things I like to do is I like to break up with my clients initially the upper spine and the lower spine. So the very first thing I like to do is set up in a lumbar locked position. So I'll have Yana stay in this position here, and I'll have her rock her hips back so that they're sitting right on the heels. Now, if you have issues sitting back on the heels, you can bend the toes and be in dorsiflexion here, or you can place a yoga block or a roll or a towel or something underneath the foot there in order to support you. So she's in this lumbar lock position. So come down onto the top of your laces. So she's in this lumbar lock position. I'm going to have her bring her hands back just a little bit. And from here, we're now locking the lumbar onto the heel. So the lumbar should not be able to really move. Now we're going to focus on this part of the spine here. So I'm going to have Yana go into extension from here. So I don't start out with segmentation. I have her move into extension, trying to pull her chest towards the floor. So really extending through here, pulling her spine, pulling all that, and she can grip into the floor and try and pull her chest really, really hard into the floor, try and get as much extension out of this stuff as she can. And then I'll have her round as much as she can through there as well. So now she'll go into flexion, rounding as much as she can through there, keeping this hips sitting back on the heels. Okay, so going into extension. So driving through here. So she still likes to come from here as opposed to moving through here. And then into flexion. So this is just something that we have to practice and you have to work on over time to be able to control and contract this stuff here. The second position I like is the thoracic lock position. So she's back in her cat-cow position. I'm going to have her drop her elbows just straight down to the floor. Her forehead is going to go to the floor. And then she's going to round her spine forward, rolling over the crown of her head. And she can use her hands to support her head around the sides of her head. So she's rounded through here. So she's got all this stuff rounded. Now her thoracic spine should be locked in flexion. From here, what we're going to do is focus on this lumbar spine area. Now, in a previous video where we did spinal segmentation, what we noticed was there was not a lot of flexion through her spine here. So this is a great opportunity to challenge her flexion while keeping her thoracic locked here. So from here, I'll put my hand here usually for a client because I just want them to globally move. And I'll ask them to press into my hand as much as they can. So try and round their spine as much as they can through this space. So she can even tuck her toes under and drive them into the floor to try and create more force. So she's driving, she's trying to get as much rounding as she can through here. She's feeling that stretch, and then she's going into extension. So going away from my hand. So trying to find as much extension of the spine there. So as you can see, she's gone into extension here, and now she's going to go into flexion again. So rounding as much as she can, trying to round, trying not to rock forward there. So just rounding through here, and then back into extension. Okay? So that's a way that you can start to break up the spine into chunks that you want to focus on specifically. And from there, you would move into segmenting those areas by themselves. So segmenting here, and then going into the lumbar locked and segmenting the upper part. And then you can bring that back to the whole and segment the entire cat-cow. If you found this video helpful and you like it, please smash the like button and share it with somebody who needs some spine love.